Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew Santowski. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Albazi. This event takes place in 2 weeks' time. Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. Prelims begin at 5. Going down from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So, very interesting card, from my opinion, man. A lot of lower weight classes on this card, which I like. So let's get into it, guys. Jack Shore against Yusuf Zalal. Why this is a prelim, I don't know. I like both these guys, man. Jack Shore, he recently moved up to featherweight. Got stopped by Joe Anderson Brito in Brazil back in May. Again, that was a tough outing for him, but he did lose it. Yusuf Zalal, he looked really good against BBQ in his UFC return. Beat Jarnell Aarons as well. And I think he's going to get by Jack Shore here too. So my pick will be Zalal. Charles Jourdain against Victor Henry. Very interesting here because Jourdain is dropping down to bantamweight. Victor Henry's on a 2-fight winning streak. Beat Ronnie Yaya. Beat Tony Gravely by split decision. And you know what? I think I'm going to side with Henry here. I don't know if this drop for Jourdain's good. I'm going to side with Henry. Zahabi against Munoz. I'm going to side with Zahabi here, man. I think there's a little more upside on Zahabi. I mean, Munoz has fought the higher competition, but just hasn't fought often and just hasn't looked very well as of late. Lost to Kyler Phillips. Lost to Marlon Vera. I could see him getting by Zahabi here, but I'm going to go with the hometown guy in Zahabi here to pick up the win. Serhiy Sidey against Garrett Armfield. Again, another closely contested fight in the men's bantamweight division. I'm going to side with Sidey, but again, I cannot fault guys for taking Armfield. I can see this fight going either way. Romanov against Nascimento. I think we kind of know Romanov is a fraud at this point. He's on a 1-fight losing streak, but when this guy can't get a win in the first round, he gets destroyed, man. Jailton Almeida absolutely destroyed him. He beat Blagoy even off a year prior to that, but he's just not even top 15 in my opinion in the heavyweight division. Nascimento, I was hoping he would get the upset over Lewis in his last fight, but Derek Lewis, he's a very high level heavyweight fighter, man, and he handled Nascimento accordingly, man. Knocks him out in the 3rd round. Brutal knockout. Nascimento took a lot of damage up to that point too. And I just think he is better than Romanov. He might have to weather a round 1 storm, but I just think Nascimento is the better fighter. So my pick will be Nascimento. Ariane Lipski against Jasmine Jasudavicius. Lipski on a 1-fight losing streak. Lost to Karine Silva. No shame in that. This is a very high-level women's flyweight fight here. Jasmine Jasudavicius. Been super impressed with this girl, man. 2-fight winning streak. I was really impressed with her win over the prospect, Fatima Klein, in her last outing in July. Fatima Klein, a lot of hype. Think a training partner or girlfriend of Aaron Blanchfield, 24 years old. I mean, a lot of hype behind this girl, and, you know, Fatima Klein brought it, but Jasmine Jasudavicius showed her strength, showed her well-rounded ability, controlled her on the ground, and I like Jasmine Jasudavicius to pick up another win here. Chad Allinger against Cody Gibson, man, I just cannot trust Cody Gibson. 1-fight winning streak. He handled Brian Kelleher accordingly, submitted him on an arm triangle choke in their last outing. And he's going to have a big reach over Chad Allinger here. But Chad Allinger, he likes to move around. He likes to do different stuff. He's coming off a win over Charlo Lampos Grigor Ayu by unanimous decision. I'm going to side with Allinger here. But again, no real confidence behind this pick. Jamie Lynn Horth against Ivana Petrovic. I'm just not sold on Ivana. She picked up a win over Na Liang. She might have been down in that fight. I don't even know if I watched that fight. Jamie Lynn Horth. Let's take a look at her. She's on a 1-fight losing streak. lost to Veronica Hardy by split decision. We know Veronica Hardy's looked really good now that she's training with Dan Hardy and his old gym up there in England. So no shame in that. Beat Haley Cowan. And I'm going to side with Jamie Lynn Horth here to pick up the win over Ivana Petrovic. I'm just not sold on her. Mike Malott against Trevin Giles. I think Malott gets back on his winning ways here. Probably knocks out Giles or submits him. I'm going to side with Mike Malott. Derek Lewis against Jahanta Diaz. I think we might see Derek Lewis turn into a wrestler here. And if Derek Lewis fights smart, which I think he very well may, I think we see him pick up the win here. But I like Jahanta Diaz, man. This guy, he's a gamer, man. This guy is a gamer. You look at the guy in the octagon, he is not scared to get hit. He's not scared to come forward and just throw blows, man. And I think this guy is a high-level kickboxer out of Brazil. Beat Carl Williams by unanimous decision. Why Carl Williams didn't implement a wrestling heavy style in that fight, I don't know. Beat Austin Lane. This guy is a dangerous guy, man. And I don't think a lot of guys want to fight him because he's got very high-level striking. And Derek Lewis, he can knock out Diaz too, but Diaz just, I think he's got the cleaner striking here. And I don't think Jahanta is going to be intimidated by Lewis. I think Jahanta's going to go forward, throw blows, and will probably catch Lewis. And I think Lewis, if he's smart, he's probably going to engage in a firestorm with him as far as throwing blows. And then I think Lewis will probably, once he gets hit, if he doesn't go out, he's probably going to, go for a reactionary takedown and probably get it, And then Derek Lewis, he's got a high-level ground game, man. He's got a very high-level ground game, man. Don't let this guy fool you. So, man, I think if Lewis fights smart, he takes it. But will he fight smart, So, I'm going to side with Diniz here. But, I mean, I can very well see Lewis winning this fight as well, man. So, we'll take a look at the odds. And I think it's a dog or pass situation, really, man, with Lewis plus 139. Anytime you see a plus number next to Lewis, you kind of got to like Lewis there, man. But I'm going to say the prospect gets the win, but it will not surprise me in the slightest if Derek Lewis pulls this off. Kyle Machado against Branson Barriault. Again, Barriault moving up to heavyweight. I think he suffered a couple losses at light heavyweight. Kyle Machado, he's more of the true heavyweight here. And I'm probably going to side with the true heavyweight here in Machado. But again, no real confidence in that pick. Marc-Andre Barriault against Dustin Stolfus. I mean, again, we've seen Barriault just get totally knocked out against Joe Pfeiffer. But I think Joe Pfeiffer, I think that guy's a real contender in that middleweight division. Man, that guy's huge, and he hits extremely hard. And I really do think Joe Pfeiffer has a bright ceiling in middleweight, man. I really do. Just like his teammate Sean Brady at welterweight, man. I think those guys are real serious contenders in their weight divisions. So, again, I'm not going to take a whole lot from that Dustin Stolfus, man. He's pretty much submit you for quick or don't get the job done fighter. And he's not going to do that on Marc-Andre Barriault here, man. I think Marc-Andre is going to pick up the win here, whether by first-round knockout or decision. I think Marc-Andre Barriault is just a better, well-rounded fighter. I think he's going to bully Dustin. So I like Barriault here. Rose Namajunas against Aaron Blanchfield. Again, I cannot fault people for taking either side of the coin here. We got Blanchfield minus 129, Rose at plus 109. I think Blanchfield's going to get it done. I was initially on Rose. I like how active Rose is staying in 2024, man. She's already picked up 2 wins. Blanchfield's a very tough fight. She was completely outmatched by Fjord. I was on Fjord in that fight. But I think Blanchfield's just going to, she's kind of the bigger fighter here, man. 5'4", 68-inch reach. And she's going to initiate the grappling here. And I think she could control Rose on the ground. Just impose her physicality. And I think Rose is probably the better striker at range. But I don't know, man. I just think Blanchfield's going to have a strength advantage. I kind of like Aaron Blanchfield to pick up the win here. I don't think it's going to be a real pretty win or anything. It might just be controlling. But I just think Blanchfield might be slightly more active. But again, I'm going to slightly lean Blanchfield. I can understand people taking either side of the coin here, but I'm going to side with Blanchfield. Moreno against Albazi. Moreno is actually the younger fighter here. Albazi coming off a split decision win over Kai Kara. Again, we know how good Kai Kara is. Moreno's beat Kai Kara twice. I'm going to side with Albazi just based on the odds, but again, we don't really know how much Moreno wanted this. It kind of sounded like he retired after that loss to Royval back in Mexico City in February when he suffered that loss. Albazi, we haven't seen much of him. He hasn't fought since June of 2023. I'm going to side with Albazi based off the dog odds, but it won't surprise me if Moreno 50-45s him here. Or if Albazi pulls out a split decision. I mean, we can see this going either way. I think Albazi's probably taken the lesser amount of damage throughout his career. But I'm going to side with Albazi. But again, I don't fault guys for taking either side of the coin here. So guys, my picks: Albazi, Blanchfield, Barriault, Machado, Diniz, Malott, Horth, Anheliger, Jasudavicius, Nascimento, Sidey, Zahabi. I'm picking Victor Henry in that fight, and then Zalal.